She doesn't want your texts, your fake promises, or your desperate attention. She wants something far rarer, a man whose silence makes her think and ponder, whose strength isn't in loud displays of ego or muscles, but in unshakable self-control, a man whose presence cannot be bent by her moods, her games, or her independence. Most men fail this test, and here's the bitter truth. Most men don't even realize they've already lost before the game began. Because women are not drawn to the man who chases or a man who constantly tries to prove his worth. She is drawn to the man who moves with certainty, who carries himself in high esteem and rises above the noise. This is where attraction becomes less about what you say and more about what you are able to do. A woman will test your mind before she ever trusts your words. She will push, withdraw, create distance, not because she hates you, but because she wants to see if you break. She wants to know if you crumble under pressure, if you beg when she pulls away, or if you stand grounded like a man who knows his self-worth. This is the psychology that most men are too afraid to face. A woman doesn't just want to love you, she wants to respect you. And respect isn't given to the man who gives everything away. Respect is only given to the man who is worthy, the man who has persevered and withstood hard times with a smile on his face. The question is, when she tests you, will you rise as the man she can look up to, or fall as just another one she forgets? Stay with me until the end, and I'll show you the only man who is strong enough to be with a Sigma female. Let's begin. The first trait is to be the man who can't be replaced. A Sigma female doesn't settle for just any man. She's not looking for someone to fill a void or simply provide her with attention. She wants a man who brings value so rare, so distinct, that replacing him would be impossible. This isn't about superficial things like looks, money, or status. Don't get me wrong, these things help, but they are temporary. What makes a man irreplaceable is the energy he carries, the depth of his mind, and the principles he refuses to compromise. Think about it. Most men are interchangeable. They chase validation, they follow trends, they mold themselves into whatever they think will make them attractive. But the man who cannot be replaced is different. He has built a life and an identity that cannot be copied. He doesn't follow the crowd, he doesn't beg for approval, and he doesn't lose himself in the pursuit of attention. That uniqueness is what makes him stand out, not just in her eyes, but in the eyes of everyone around him. For a Sigma female who already knows her worth and refuses to tolerate mediocrity, this type of man is magnetic. She realizes that if she loses him, she cannot simply find another. His combination of strength, authenticity, and vision is one of one. That scarcity is what gives him his power. And here's the truth. Being irreplaceable doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic and building yourself into a man who isn't easily forgotten. A man whose presence changes the atmosphere of a room. A man who leaves an impression so deep that no one else can step into his role. That's why Sigma women are drawn to men who live by their own rules, who invest in their personal growth, who stand so firmly in their own lane that trying to replicate them is pointless. Because once a woman knows she's with a man like that, she knows she either rises to meet his level or risks losing something that cannot be replaced. 2. The man who embodies consistency in every sense. A man who is consistent is a man who is trustworthy. In a world where most people are swayed by moods, temptations, and fleeting emotions, consistency becomes a rare and powerful virtue. A man who embodies consistency is not perfect. He doesn't need to be, but he is reliable. His words align with his actions align with his values, and his values remain firm even when life tests him. Consistency doesn't mean being rigid or unchanging. It means being steady. It means that the woman in his life doesn't have to wonder if he'll switch up tomorrow, if his love, his vision, or his character will suddenly collapse under pressure. A consistent man provides something priceless: stability. And stability is not boring, it's strength, it's peace. It's what allows a woman to relax into her feminine energy because she knows she can trust the foundation he has built. Think about it, anyone can be motivated for a week, romantic for a month, disciplined for a season. But the consistent man shows up year after year. He is the man who doesn't just chase dreams but builds them brick by brick. He doesn't abandon his principles when they become inconvenient, and he doesn't withdraw his effort when the relationship goes through rough waters. To embody consistency in every sense is to be dependable emotionally, mentally, and practically. His presence doesn't fluctuate like the stock market. His woman doesn't have to doubt whether he will be faithful, whether he will still respect her in 5 years, or whether he will crumble when things get difficult. That quiet, steady reliability makes him irreplaceable because in a world full of men who are hot today and cold tomorrow, he stands as a pillar. But let's be clear, consistency is not about blind routine or playing it safe. It's about being grounded in who you are, showing up fully, and being reliable in the ways that matter most, with your integrity, with your effort, and with your presence. A consistent man is rare, but when a woman finds one, she doesn't take him for granted, because she knows anyone can shine for a moment, but only a real man shines every single day. The third trait is to be the man who protects his peace, and in turn protects hers. Every strong woman, no matter how independent, values one thing above all: her peace. Not the constant drama, not the endless arguments, not the toxic cycles of emotional chaos. Her peace. But here's the truth. Only a man who has mastered himself can truly protect it. Think about it. A weak man brings disorder. He needs validation. He picks fights over small things. He reacts emotionally when he doesn't get his way. Instead of protecting her, he drains her. He makes her anxious, uncertain, and exhausted. That's not love, it's chaos disguised as passion. Now compare that with a man who understands discipline, who has control over his emotions, and who lives by principles. This man doesn't need to dominate her or control her life. He doesn't compete with her peace, he adds to it. When she is with him, she feels safe, not because he shields her from the world, but because he shields her from unnecessary battles. He doesn't waste energy on petty arguments, he doesn't crumble under stress, and he doesn't make her life harder. Instead, he brings calm, direction, and stability. This is what women truly crave, not constant excitement, but consistency. Not a man who begs for attention, but a man who commands respect. A man who becomes an anchor in her storm, not another storm to endure. But here's the key, he doesn't lose himself in this process. He isn't living to serve her, and he doesn't revolve his existence around keeping her happy. His life has structure, his purpose is clear, and because he is grounded, he naturally creates an environment where her peace is protected. It's not about giving her all the power, it's about being strong enough to maintain harmony without being controlling. The man who protects her peace is rare. He doesn't raise his voice unnecessarily, he doesn't fold under pressure, and he doesn't make promises he can't keep. He is both steady and strong. With him, she doesn't feel drained, she feels aligned. Because at the end of the day, love isn't just about passion, it's about peace. And the man who can protect that peace without losing his own, that's the man she'll never forget. 4. A man who moves with calm and purpose. There is something deeply magnetic about a man who carries himself with calm and purpose. He doesn't rush, he doesn't stumble through life reacting to every noise, every distraction, every demand. Instead, he moves deliberately, like a man who knows exactly where he's going, even if the entire world cannot yet see his destination. This kind of man doesn't waste his energy on meaningless chaos. His calm is not weakness, it is mastery. Most men are pulled into arguments, temptations, and constant need for validation, but the man who moves with calm and purpose is not swayed. He understands that true strength is not loud. It is not about proving yourself in every room. It is about being so centered in who you are that no storm outside can disturb the peace within. Women naturally feel safe around such a man. His calm energy becomes an anchor in a world full of noise and uncertainty. He listens more than he talks, he observes more than he reacts, and when he does speak or act, it is with precision and intention. Purpose is the second layer of his power. Calm without direction is just passivity. But when calm is paired with purpose, it becomes unstoppable. He knows his mission in life, not because someone handed it to him, but because he has taken the time to reflect, to suffer, to learn, and to align himself with what truly matters. His days are not wasted on petty distractions. He chooses carefully where his time, his energy, and his emotions go. To women, this kind of man is rare. He is not just attractive, he is trustworthy. He doesn't need to chase, to manipulate, or to impress. His life is already a magnet. His calm steadies her spirit, and his purpose gives her confidence that she is walking beside a man who will not falter when life gets difficult. 5. A man who leads without aggression. True leadership is not about control, nor is it about force. A man who leads without dominating understands that real influence comes from example, not intimidation. He does not need to shout to be heard or impose his will to be respected. Instead, he carries himself with a quiet authority that naturally draws others to follow. This kind of man is rooted in self-mastery. His strength is not loud or aggressive, but steady and grounded. People trust his judgment not because he demands it, but because he proves time and again that he can guide with wisdom, clarity, and fairness. He has no interest in belittling others to feel powerful. His presence itself is power enough. To the woman who values her peace, this kind of man is a rare gift. He gives her the freedom to be herself while also creating a sense of direction and security. He does not compete with her, nor does he try to suppress her individuality. Instead, he creates a partnership built on balance, where leadership flows naturally without tension. This man leads by being dependable, by taking responsibility when it matters, and by remaining calm in moments of uncertainty. His leadership is a form of protection, not domination. He shields without caging, guides without restraining, and strengthens without overpowering. In a world full of men who mistake dominance for leadership, this man proves that true strength lies in restraint, respect, and purpose. He doesn't demand followers, and people choose to follow him. And to the woman who values both her independence and her peace, his leadership is not a threat, but a harmony. The final trait is to be the man who is in touch with his emotions, and at the same time, a master of his reactions. A Stoic woman is not impressed by a man who loses control at the smallest inconvenience. She has built her world on independence, solitude, and strength, and she tests whether the man beside her can stand firm when life storms around him. Most men crumble under pressure. They lash out in anger, collapse into jealousy, or drown in insecurity. To her, that is weakness, and weakness is repulsive. The only man who can truly stand beside a Sigma female is the man who has mastered his emotions. He does not suppress them, he controls them. He knows when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to walk away. His composure becomes his armor. Imagine being with a woman who does not need you financially. What can you offer her? Only a man with emotional mastery can create the calm in which she can finally relax, because she knows he cannot be shaken by her storms. This doesn't mean he is cold or detached, quite the opposite. He feels deeply but refuses to let emotions dictate his actions. His strength lies in responding instead of reacting. He understands that anger destroys respect, jealousy destroys trust, and insecurity destroys attraction. By mastering himself, he shows her that he is a fortress she can lean on without fear of collapse. To a Sigma female, this is everything. She doesn't want a man who needs to dominate her or prove himself through control. She wants a man who is already in control of himself. Because the truth is this: if you can't rule your own mind, you will never be able to lead her or the family you bring forth with her. And remember, becoming this kind of man or recognizing him takes awareness, patience, and growth. If this message spoke to you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Clarity for more insights on strength, wisdom, and the art of living well. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong.